Hey, how are ya? Monzi here. I recently got an Insta360 X3 360 degree camera for my bike. I can't compare it to anything. I really never had a GoPro. I've had some, I guess you would call them no pro cameras, which were crap. So this is the first time I'm trying quality video footage on the bike. This is also the first time I'm using Insta360 Studio to edit my video. There's a whole bunch of tutorials out there on YouTube about this software, and they make it look easy peasy lemon squeezy. It is pretty easy, but not as simple as they let on. I don't know if they don't realize that maybe they use this a lot and they gloss over things in their videos, but I've found it a lot more time consuming and needed to really pay attention to details than they let on. So I started doing this and realized there's quite a bit more to it than just pointing the camera where you want, and thought maybe others might want to see it from start to finish. Now there's probably a better way to do some of the things I'm doing, but I don't know of them yet. I'm still learning how to do it all. Oh, and forgive the audio quality. Just have a headset and mic, nothing special, no quality mic or anything. With that said, let's get into it. Here we have the Insta360 Studio, which is a software native to edit the camera's videos. You can click anywhere in the frame and drag around position to the camera, up, left, down, right, the whole gamut. As you see on the left, I have 3 clips from today's jaunt around town. We'll be using the first clip. This was filmed in 4K 60 frames per second because I wanted to see what it looked like if I slow it down at some point to do a dramatic slow-mo shot. I renamed the project to 4K 60 frames per second so I know what I'm dealing with. You can load up several projects at once. I turn the camera around, get it to where I want it to be pointed, and move forward. You can add start and end frames where your video is going to start and where it's going to end. Here I want to start it at the end of my driveway, so I'll add a start frame. And then you can put an end frame anywhere in the video you want. I'm going to move forward to the end of the ride and put an end frame there. This is non-destructive. It doesn't mess up your video. So now I want to add a keyframe, and you have options with that, like natural view, but you also have tiny planet, crystal ball, and the default view. I prefer the natural view. If you notice, with the default view, you get this curve at things close by. Things in the distance look normal and straight, but it gives you this kind of fisheye effect. So I like the normal view. And I put it because I want the headlamp and the fender in the video and then the road ahead. So we'll come here and we start with this position. But as we make the corner, the camera changes. Actually, it doesn't change. It's still pointing the way I told it to point at the keyframe. So I have to readjust, add another keyframe. And then let's back up and see how well that does. Oh, this isn't, because you see now it's starting to pan before I'm even moving. That's no good. That's not what I want at all. Let's get rid of these keyframes and try something else. So 360 Studio also has this tracking mode, which is that little icon here, and then you draw a box around what you want it to track. Now, as it creates this, it's very slow and choppy. The end result will be what we want to see, though. It'll be smooth, just like normal. But as it's making this, this isn't what I want either. I don't want just the headlamp and fender. I want the headlamp and fender in the corner or at the bottom, and the road ahead. So this is not going to work for me. We'll stop that. Undo. Control Z, right, to undo. And let's see what else we can do. So let's start playing. We'll go through. Oh, here we're starting to turn. Let's add a keyframe. Let's try it here. If I set the keyframe here, I'm just going to leave the default view. So, I mean, it could be better, but let's see how that looks overall. Oh, well, I messed something up. Let's undo that. You got to make sure what button you're pushing, right? Okay, but see, the camera's still. It's panning, and I don't want it to pan yet. So this got a little frustrating for me at this point. So I'm going to go here to the end of the curve, add the keyframe, and then I'm going to add some more keyframes to keep this pre-pan from happening. Well, if I figure out how to turn it the right way. But even so, it's still a little. I mean, it could be better. I could add a few more in there, but we're going to keep going for now. But look at this, how smooth this is, and the video is great quality, and it's very smooth. There's no vibration from the bike. And then we turn a corner, and we have the same problem again. So we're going to have to reposition, add a keyframe, and let's come back here and see how that looks. I'm probably going to have to add another keyframe or two. See, as we're starting to pan to where this keyframe is going to be. So let's move back. And that looks good. We'll reposition, put another keyframe, and it follows through. Let's see how it does for real. So it starts panning a little early, but I can live with that. Well, let's take a look at the tracking software. Up here at the stop sign, there's 4 people crossing this street. So I'm going to hit the tracking button. I'm going to draw a box around them. So we'll try to keep those center frame. Now it's going to go really slow because it's making tons of calculations. But the end result will be a regular smooth video at normal speed. There's my ugly mug. Alright, we'll stop that there. Now let's go back and see what we have. So that looks pretty okay. Now the other thing that we can do is slow it down or speed it up. So right now I'm going to add the lightning bolt here, which is the speed change. So by default it shows us 2 times the speed, so it's a speed up. But if you click the kind of reddish box here, let's increase our time. Let's zoom into the timeline a little bit. You can slow it down, right, or speed it up. But we're slowing it down, and this is starting a little too early. What can we do about that? I'm pretty sure we can edit this. Let's see. I think I want to start. Oh, okay. So I can drag this over and decide where the slow-mo starts. It's starting a little too early for me, though. So we need to work on that. And this is what I mean by it's a little more complicated and involved than what the tutorials normally let you know. They go, oh, you can do this, bing, bang, boom, and it's done. But to get what you want, it's gonna take some time. And I still think I'm starting the slow-mo a little too soon. And I want to end it here. So yeah. And we'll start it about there. So the other thing it does when you go into slow-mo is it disconnects the sound. So you don't have any sound. So that's something to think about. And let's make it go even slower. Yeah, that might be a little too slow. That's not good for the end result. So make some minor adjustments here. And I get it just where I want it. Where I want things to start, where I want things to stop. And that's sometimes a bit difficult. It's not really difficult, but it's time consuming, right? Little nitpicky things. But if you want something good, that's what you have to do. You have to take the time to make sure you get the shot you want. Now, maybe for a demo type thing like I'm doing, you don't have to, but then you end up with like other videos that are just telling you, oh, do this, do that, and you're done. It's really not that simple, though. So here I add another frame, and then another one here to bring it around to the front. Now I want to look at adding speed. So we're going to hit the speed button and just say, okay, we'll do it to there. We'll adjust what speed we want. We're at 2x by default, but let's try 8x. And see how that works. Now you see here lighted this yellow icon, which is motion blur, which doesn't show up in this video, but will show up at in the real thing. And I'll clip the real thing to the end of this, at least this part, so you can really experience the motion blur. But as we saw, the camera changed. Got to put another keyframe in there to keep the camera angle. really makes it look like you're just zooming, but still, look how sharp all the details are. I think what I'm going to do is change this. I think I don't want to start my super speed until we make that corner. So right about really where the keyframe is. And you don't have markers in this like you do in Adobe, where you can put a marker and then align things to it. But you can use a keyframe for that. At fast speed, we still get the sound. I don't know why the sound is cut out in slow-mo. So I think I'm going to take this right up here. I think is the end of this road. A lot of construction going on, and I have to turn. So I'm going to run this to the point where I have to turn and add a keyframe. That way I can click into this and then drag the endpoint to where the keyframe is. And really just using those as markers. And that's what I did. And now I'm going to show you the whole 4-minute video that this created, with a couple of edited parts out because it got real boring.